This is the Boston Marathon Amateur Radio Communications, brought to you by the Amateur Radio Volunteer Coordinators, Paul Topolsky, W1SCX, Bob DeMattia, K1IW, and Steve Schwarm, W3EVE.
Okay, Paul, thanks for the information. Miley and I will be looking forward to working the marathon.
No problem, Jim. Glad I could help. Thanks again for volunteering. It's a lot of work, a long day, but well worth the effort, not to mention a lot of fun.
Thanks for the update, Paul. Miley and I will see you on race day. 73, KA1GCN clear.
Sure enough, Jim. The Boston Athletic Association, the Marathon Amateur Radio Communications Group, and I really appreciate your efforts. 73, W1SCX. Hi everyone and welcome back. Now that you've volunteered for the marathon, one of the questions that you might have is what type of equipment do you need? Hopefully the video will answer these questions. All right, whether you're going to be operating portable with an HT on the street, or riding in one of the medical buses, or at a net control fixed location, this video will tell you what you really need and what's optional.
The Boston Marathon Amateur Radio Communications plans are designed so that an operator will only need to provide a minimal amount of 2-meter radio equipment. Pictured here is a complement of gear that will suffice for any ham operating in the field. The ham will need a good quality handheld radio that is capable of at least 2.5 watts of output power, a Heliflex antenna, extra rechargeable batteries, or an alkaline battery pack with at least 2 sets of extra batteries. An external speaker mic and headset are required to provide the best possible audio, especially on the receiving side. Always bring your instruction manual should you need to refer to it, as some seldom used functions of your radio may be required for the marathon. You will receive in your volunteer information package a complete listing of all frequencies to be used during the race. However, having an ARRL repeater directory is handy to have just in case. Some assignments will require a magnetic mount antenna with appropriate whip. In particular, hams assigned to the medical suite buses and other mobile operations are required to provide an external magnetic mount antenna. For hams operating on the finish line, the factory original or aftermarket Heliflex antenna will be sufficient. The antenna to the left is an aftermarket model and is slightly more efficient than the factory model. For operations at the start line and along the course, an aftermarket full-length whip is strongly recommended. These unity gain antennae provide a full quarter wavelength at 2 meters, and the dual band models, such as this one from Comet, provide gain on UHF. The volunteer information package provided to you will contain a communications plan that details all the frequencies that you will need to operate on race day. The information provided will tell you the channel's alpha tag, function, frequencies and PL codes, the assignment or purpose of the channel, and any remarks regarding the use of the frequency. Please be sure to program the communications plan into your radio with the alpha tags if your radio has that capability. An ARRL repeater directory is optional, but may come in handy if you have difficulty. As mentioned earlier in this video, hams that have a mobile assignment are required to provide a magnetic mount antenna. All hams are highly encouraged to bring a mag mount because some last-minute assignment changes may have to be made due to no-shows or other unforeseen circumstances. Having a quarter wave whip for 2 meters is sufficient, and a 5/8 wave antennae are acceptable. However, if you are assigned to a school bus, the 5/8 wave antenna may hit overhead obstructions such as bridges, trees, or wires. If all you have is a 5/8 wave, then mount your antenna on the hood of the bus. If you have a dual band radio, then by all means bring a dual band antenna. If you don't regularly use your handheld radio with a mag mount antenna, then be sure to note before race day the type of coax connector on the mag mount and the connector on your radio. Be sure you have the appropriate adapters if your connections don't match up. Sporting events are noisy, and the marathon is no exception, especially as the main pack of runners passes your location. You know the old ham radio adage, if you can't hear 'em, you can't work 'em. Sound pressure levels on the street during the race range anywhere from 80 to 95 dBA. Good communications practice states there should be approximately 20 dBA between the desired sound and the background noise. This would put the required sound level from your radio between 100 and 115 dBA. Remember, permanent hearing damage begins at 120 dBA. Armed with that information, you can make an appropriate choice of headset. Pictured here is the Prime earbud, microphone, and PTT switch for the Yaesu VX5. This device will work fine in most areas of the marathon. However, large crowd areas may require turning up your radio volume very high. The cost of this unit is between $25 and $35. The unit is also available configured for other radio manufacturers. Next is the Yaesu YH2 headset. This unit costs about $50 and requires an external PTT switch. This unit performs a little better than the earbud model. Finally, the least expensive and the best performing solution is to utilize a standard Walkman-style stereo headphone connected to an existing speaker microphone. By covering both ears, improved performance is gained. Additionally, electronic noise-canceling headphones are becoming readily available at very reasonable prices and are an excellent choice for the marathon. The connection for the headphone is either made at the microphone itself or the radio connector is shown here. If your radio does not support stereo headphones, you will need to buy a stereo mono adapter. Adapters are inexpensive and readily available from most electronics retailers.